Canceled Ones Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Canceled Ones Podcast, Episode 1. I'm your host. No round of applause? That's okay. My name is Mitch, and I am the host of the Canceled Ones Podcast, brand new podcast. Been thinking about doing something like this over the last couple years. Just very busy life. Me and my wife, we just kept having kid after kid. We got 3 girls. That kind of slowed things up a little bit as far as moving on to things that, well, I guess are more considered hobbies before they are considered a job. So, Moo, go away. Sorry, I got the cat up here. She's messing with all my stuff that I just got set up. You kind of see her in the back. That side, this side, that side there. One of them motherfucking sides. She's somewhere. Where's she at? Come here, Moo. This is the Moo kitty. You say hi to everybody. Say I'm a canceled one too. Oh! You know, she's black, she's white, she's a moo-moo. So, anyway, we'll get back into it. Like I said, this is the Canceled Ones Podcast. Welcome and thank you for joining for the first episode. This has been a long time coming. Literally been wanting to do this for years upon years. Right around the time that I really wanted to start doing it, my wife got pregnant with our first kid. That was 2015. And then once kind of got back on our feet and was like, oh, cool, now, you know, I can pick up some more hobbies. I need something for myself. Let's try it, you know. Got pregnant again with kid number 2. And then a year and a half, 2 years after that, pregnant with kid number 3. So, all girls. Family life is awesome. I definitely would not trade it for anything in this world. You really feel like you don't start life until you have kids. At least I didn't. I mean, I was 28 when we had my first one, and I mean, life was easy. I'll just put it that way. It was awesome being able to come and go as I please, but at the same time, it's one of those things you don't know what you're missing out on until you have it, and then you miss out. So, when I was young, I always wanted to have a big family. I come from a big family. My mom's side is Mexican. My dad's side is not Mexican. Honestly, we're Scottish. That's what it is. And so, yeah, both sides of my family, we got big families. I have huge gatherings when I was younger. Like, just for example, Christmas Day, we'd wake up at my grandmother's house, my mom's mom, and we would do Christmas there, 7, 8 in the morning. By 10:30, we were going over to my dad's family's house, spending Christmas with them until about 1. Then we would head back over to my abuelita's house, which is my great-grandmother, and we would do Christmas there with all of my great aunts and uncles and cousins. Then we'd have like 2 hours, 3 hours of downtime, which most people took a nap or just got caught up on things that they needed to do for the day, called people that, friends or whatever, that they didn't have a chance to talk to throughout the day, because this is before cell phones were, you know, a big thing. This was early 90s. Late 80s, early 90s, all the way through probably to 2003, 4-ish was when kind of it all stopped. But then after that little break in the day, we would end the night at my great-grandfather's house, which was my mom's dad's dad. And they'd have this huge party. I mean, there would literally be like 40, 50 people there, all family. It was wild times. And I just always looked forward to growing up, and because my great-grandfather, Vic, he was he was a great bartender for everybody. We'll just put it that way. But he made these margaritas that all the adults just went crazy for. So I always looked forward to that, like, oh, one day, I'm going to be of age to be able to drink, which to them, as long as you're like 18, my great-grandfather's like, here, you can have one. You're not driving or anything like that. So you're good. You're around family. But sadly, he passed away before I became an adult. And so it goes with great-grandparents and grandparents. And, I mean, most of us are blessed to even just have grandparents that are still alive once you're an adult. Where I was blessed to have, on my mom's side, I had my grandmother's great-grandparents, my grandfather's great-grandparents. Were all still alive. I got to know them. On my father's side, my grandma's parents were still alive. So my great-grandfather on that side, actually, he lived to 104 years old. But we all used to joke that he was going to outlive all of us. And he probably would have had his wife not died. My great-grandmother Wanda, she was amazing. But that was his light in this world. He was still working at 103 years old. That man was still working. Nothing hard. He was just at a grocery store. But he was very keen on, as soon as you stop is when your body stops, your mind stops, and your life stops. Well, after she got sick and she passed away, it was like 4 months later, and he passed away. He gave up. Wanda was his light. And as awesome as kids are and as family is, and the more we grow and create, I think there's something to be said for that one person that you create everything with. And he showed me that when you lose that, you can ultimately lose yourself. Even though you have so much love still around you and you have so much family that you've created, the person that you created with is no longer there to share the enjoyment with you. So don't take your significant others for granted, because as much as we all say, like, oh yeah, I live for my kids, blah 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 blah, you started the journey with one person, one other person aside from yourself, and ultimately that's where it ends. So, but enough on that. Like I said, this is episode 1. Haven't got my studio in order yet, so it's rather janky right now, is what we'll say. I'm actually in what was going to be my kids' playroom. So I am an interior remodeler by day. I also do one-day bath fittings. Very fulfilled in the work that I do. I love helping people out, and I love seeing that smile on people's face when their dream of what their house could be becomes a reality, and I'm the person responsible for creating that reality for them. I love that. It makes my life feel so fulfilled outside of my family. Because I'm a firm believer that that's what we're all here for, is for service. And if you're not here for service to others, then what are you doing with your life? So I come from a very Catholic and Christian family, so I do hold those beliefs to me, and that's why I hold service so high on the list. Be it any kind of service. I don't care if you're fixing people's houses, cars, serving them food, cleaning their houses, whatever you're doing for other people, regardless of what you get on the other side of it, I hope it fulfills you, because that's what we're here for. So a little bit about the Canceled Ones podcast, though. This is an entertainment comedy podcast. We might throw in some bullshit with politics and stuff, but I am not political by any means. I don't give a fuck what side you're on. It makes no difference to me. I grew up with the mentality of, do you know how a politician is lying? Their mouth is moving. We have gotten away from that, and most people allow politics to be their personality. That's fucking dumb. Because no matter what, at the end of the day, it's up to you to create the life that you want. Not a government, not a president, not a fucking representative of your state, nothing like that. So keep that shit to your fucking selves. I don't give a shit. So we won't talk about things like that. We will only talk about entertainment purposes and comedy purposes and music. I'm huge into music. Here, real quick, I'll just show you kind of the studio that I'm working with. That will be better. I promise it will be better. So, like I said, this was going to be my kids' playroom. It's a loft that I built because I pulled our ceilings up and made them follow the roof line. You see my cats love it. So I decided, like, let's go ahead and let's build this loft area for them. Yeah. Kids are just not receptive to climbing up ladders nowadays. I don't know what it is. I was a kid. I was in trees, up ladders. I mean, you name it. I was fucking climbing. That's just what we did. We were bored. We didn't have technology and phones and things like that. The best we had was Sega and Nintendos and Super Nintendos. And then, of course, the N64s came out and blah, blah, blah. But in the beginning, it was just Sega and Nintendo, and you can only play that shit so much before it's like, dude, we need to go do something. So, we rode our bikes and skated and rollerbladed, climbed trees, got in trouble, tried to cross frozen lakes. Yeah, I mean, you can fucking name it, we did it. Stupid shit, fun times. Easier times, for sure. Different world. But, yeah, this is the space. So I'm just now moving everything up here. Because this was kind of a last minute thing. You can see, still got some of my kids' toys up here. So like I said, we tried to make it work. They just, I don't know, it just became just sitting space, and I don't like that. So there's the doorway there that goes to the attic, but it also goes to the attic ladder. I got this little pop-up ladder right there. So yeah, eventually though, we will get this all in order. I just really, really, really wanted to get this going, because I finally have time to do things, I mean, gosh, it just feels like life just catches up to you, and then you just forget to do things, and, 10 years goes by, and you're like, man, if I would have started that 10 years ago, I'd be 100 episodes, 1,000 episodes in, whatever, regardless of where it goes. I don't really care about that. So I told my wife finally, I was like, I got to get this going. I'm ready to do a podcast. I just need something for myself. I feel like every day it's going to work, coming home, and family time, being dad, being husband. And that's so great. I'm so blessed to have everything that I do have. And at the same time, we as humans need to take time for ourselves, and you need to do something for yourself, even if it's a small thing like turning a camera on, hooking up a microphone, and talking. Hobbies don't have to be strenuous, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm gonna go fucking play some pickup games, or I'm gonna go skate. Bitch, I'm 39 years old. I ain't trying to get on a skateboard anymore. Like, it's fun, don't get me wrong. I'll hit a church parking lot or something and just do some flat ground tricks, but I'm not trying to do 5 sets anymore. I'm not trying to get famous with that anymore, or make that a living. Like, I can't even imagine that. 39 years old and eating shit sucks. Trust me. I tried like 2-3 years ago. I hit that kind of like midlife crisis shit. And me and my buddy were like, oh, let's go skate, We'll go to the skate parks. And, we still had it a little bit. It just was not at the level that we were when we were, 19, 20 years old. And it was balls to the wall. Who gives a shit? Skating downtown till, 3, 4 in the fucking morning. Doing crazy gaps and 5 sets, 10 sets. Just, the tricks are still there, but the courage to jump down 10 flights of stairs is, I'm good. I have a very fulfilling career that I need to show up for every day that pays my bills very well. So I can't lose that. So when I told my wife, though, that I was like, hey, I really want to get that podcast going, what do you think? She was like, oh, I love that for you. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a talker, and I know no strangers. I'm the type of guy that, like, if we're hanging out in line for something, I'll literally strike up conversations with people around me just because, like, that's who I am. Very, I don't know, what is that? Introverted, extroverted, some shit like that. Whatever. You know what the fuck I'm trying to say. But, so when I told her, yeah, she was just, that's amazing. I love that for you. I think you'll be really good at it. So do it. So I ordered a little cheap microphone off of Amazon. I already had the software on my computer to do shit because I have always loved doing movie editing and video editing. Over the last couple years, really, my editing has more been like videos for my wife or for friends and family. Say like their beloved dog died or something like that. I do like the mixtape type of thing back in the day for people, put in all the videos and clips I can find of them and their animal or whoever it was that passed away and put a nice song to it, send it to them. Here you go. Anytime you're feeling that person or feeling that animal, you can go now and watch this video and remember, all the great times. I'm a firm believer in that don't remember the bad times with people and loved ones, animals, whatever. Remember the good times after they pass, because that's what life's all about. So, and if you have something to go and watch that you can just be like, man, I remember that. I remember doing that. I remember going to this park with them, or all the times we swam in the creeks and was skipping rocks and shit. Like, that's what it's about. So, that's where my video editing kind of went to over the last few years, which sucks. Because it used to be like, I played in bands growing up, and we would play bar shows, and I'd bring my video camera with me and record all this shit, get all these cool ass fucking shots, like going up the guitars, like watching their fucking fingers just doing solos and shit, and like getting right up on the drums while my buddies are just fucking going to town on them. We were pure metalheads, so I'll tell anybody, I don't give a shit. Metal has the highest talent level out there, regardless if you like the music or not. It does not matter if you like the music or not. But metal definitely has the biggest and best talent out of any musicians out there. And I know that just because of who I've played with. And these guys aren't even famous or anything like that. But, man, our guitar player that we had, our lead, he could shred like nobody else. And so many people say that. I know, but just if you heard Mike play, you'd be like, holy shit, how has this guy never made it famous? He was just phenomenal. Same goes for our drummer and my best friend Ski. He was just, everybody was just so phenomenal at their instruments. But then on top of that, when you play metal, you can play any kind of music. So most people just get wrapped up in the vocals of heavy metal because it's just, and like, I can't understand what they're saying. Look it up, bitch. Like, a lot of the times you don't know the lyrics to people that you can understand, and you look up their lyrics, but then people don't do that with metal, and they're like, I can't understand what they're saying. And a lot of times too, especially with heavy metal and growling and screams, a lot of times it's more about how the music makes you feel as it is what they're fucking saying. Most people's lyrics aren't profound and like, oh God, that really spoke to me. I can't remember the last time a song spoke to me. There's very few and far between that I hear a song and I'm like, damn, that hits like right here. So I will die on that hill though, that metal has the best musicians because they can play everything. It'll be very seldom that you see like a country artist or a pop artist or a rapper, anything like that, translate over to metal. Most of them can't. It's too fast, too heavy. The chords are just too much, especially when it comes to vocals and drums. Forget about that. They ain't doing that. You ain't doing that. If you haven't practiced metal screams, you're not going to do them. It's just plain and simple. And they're not hard. I mean, I don't think they are. It came naturally to me, though, so who knows. But I'm so excited to be doing this finally. I'm going to start mixing in some day in the lives, too, just so that way you guys can also see what I do during the day and kind of get to know me more. Yeah, I just, like I said, I love being a father. I love being a husband. I love being a son and a brother. Like, my family has been my life. And it'll be exciting to show people that side. But it'll also be exciting to show kids that, like, with what I do day to day, you know, you can make very, very good money without having to sit behind a desk. And so that's what I want to show people with my day-to-day life and day in the life videos, especially with the work. Like, yeah, it takes a few years to get the skills, don't get me wrong. But once you have those skills, especially if you're 18 years old, if you carve out time between 18 and, say, 22 to 23 years old to really gain skills in certain things, you can be making $100,000 a year by the time you're 25 years old. Especially in like the one-day bath fitting game. That is a very, very lucrative business for any technician that wants to get into it. I just found out about it last year. So I'm new to that game. I've been in construction and multi-housing for 23 years now. Because that's where I started. I started low level groundsman in an apartment complex and worked my way all the way up to supervisor. Just gained the knowledge and skills. I was always thrilled to follow guys that were plumbers in the union or electricians. I would follow them and have them teach me what the fuck they knew. So then that way it's like, cool, I followed a plumber for an entire year. I'm pretty set on knowing residential plumbing. Next year, oh cool, I got a supervisor that was an electrician. I'm going to have him teach me everything he fucking knows. And even to this day, I have a lot of those people's numbers. If I run into something that I just can't figure out, call them up. Hey, bro, it's been a while. I got this going on. And I started out personally as HVAC right out of high school. My school had a vocational program. You could get your HVAC. So that's what I did. My mother worked in apartments. That's where that snowballed into that. Because I loved hanging out with the maintenance guys back in the day. Their jobs seemed very easy, very fun, and it was also very lucrative, especially back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where maintenance guys were respected on their properties. You know, nowadays there's a big stigma around it, but it's just because a lot of shitheads got into it, and they were jerry-rigging things. I mean, and sorry if your name's Jerry. That I didn't create this thing. That's just the saying. But years of that has given maintenance guys a bad name. Not every maintenance guy sucks. I can promise you that. So, like the saying goes, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but is oftentimes better than a master of one. So, most people like to stop that at a jack of all trades is a master of none. Okay, continue on the fucking saying, bitch. Don't cherry pick what the hell you want to make yourself look better. Tradesmen love to do that, though. They love to shit on guys that are jack of all trades. I'm a jack of all trades. I'm also HVAC certified, as well as like lead certified. I got a couple EPA certifications. But it's just about gaining those skills and trying different areas of life. I loved working with my hands. I love fixing things. I was the kid when I was younger that I took apart the VCR and put a tape in just to see how it worked, you know, and then I'd try to put it back together. Might have a couple screws missing at the end, but it still fucking worked. Top might come off if you grabbed it in a wrong, but eh, I fixed where it still worked. My mom's gonna jump in here and be like, "Yeah, motherfucker, you took apart like everything and broke so much shit." But yeah, I was just very interested in things, how things worked, so I took them apart, saw how they worked, tried to put them back together. Most of the time, they still worked. But yeah, just get out there and try different things, and you'll see. Like, you don't have to go to school for an additional 8 years after high school to gain over $100,000. You don't have to be a famous YouTuber or an influencer, because I know that's a huge thing with the younger generation of wanting to do that to gain fulfilling work and lots of money. There's definitely avenues down that way that are, in my eyes, easy, but I'm also not fresh to the game. I'm not green in construction. I know what I'm doing. So, like joining, for example, with the 1 day bath fittings, I mean, we rip out tubs and showers and get you a whole new tub or shower in 1 day. I mean, we'll remodel your entire bathroom in 2 to 3 days if it's, depending on the size of it, if you're doing flooring, vanity, and all that. And I make over 100K a year doing that. Not a bad gig. And I got a lot of buddies now that are, I want to say they're upset with me particularly, but they're like, how the fuck, dude? Because they're working their asses off, working a job 8 to 5, and they're making half of that. Whereas I'm at the job at 7:30, so I'm usually out the door at 6:30 in the morning, which whatever. But I'm home, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I have the whole rest of the day to do whatever I want, which usually involves family stuff, kids. We also have 5 dogs, 3 cats, and like 10 chickens. So, got a lot going on. Got a lot to do. But it'll all get done. So I'm very pleased to be in a spot now to where I can do this with you guys, and we can get to know each other and grow together. And if there's any advice you need, I'm here to help out. Like I said, I have a lot of knowledge to pass on to people if they want it. Whether you want it or not is up to you, I guess. But if there's, anything that anybody needs to know on how, even if it's just simple shit, like there's so many kids out there that, they don't have dads or a role model to look up to, as far as like a male role model to look up to. So it's, even if it's something as simple as like shaving, which I'll just start that. Never go against the grain. Always down, never up. That'll fuck you up. Don't do that shit. But if just anything like that, like you throw it in the comments. If I see it, I'll get back to you. I promise I will try to get back to everybody. Of course, in the beginning, it'll be a lot easier because there's not going to be a whole lot of following, and it'll be easier to see the 10 comments that are there and get back to people on things. If there's anything you guys need to know about shit, that's what I'm here for, is to help, to entertain. We'll go through some like kind of news type stuff, what's in the world today. Try to keep away from the serious shit because that is boring and just fucking lame. Everybody's too serious nowadays. I fucking hate it. One of my favorite phrases after the movie had came out was, Heath Ledger's line in the Dark Knight of "Why so serious?" I love that fucking saying. I wish more people would look at that nowadays because too many people take this shit way too serious. Life is about the journey, not the motherfucking destination. So why are you fucking so worried about stupid shit for? And on top of that, too many people are worried about other shit. Worry about your motherfucking self. Worry about yourself and yours, and then the world. But there can only be so many Batmans out there, I just, for one, am not going to do that. I'm here to help, but I'm not here to save. You want saved? Turn to God. Guarantee you'll be saved. So, yeah. What else? That's it for now. I'll get back. Anyway, thank you for joining the Cancel One podcast. I will see you later.
Catch you on the flip side. Flip it.